Welcome to the Kinesio Outdoors podcast, where my goal is to educate you on how to safely enjoy exercise indoors and outdoors, inspire you to experience life outside, and encourage you to live a more active life closer to nature. Today on the podcast, I've got two very curious individuals, just like myself. I've got Troy Fowler, aka the Ranch Fairy, and I've got Nick Campbell, who's now back by popular demand. We're going to talk about shot placement. We're going to talk about different species, different arrows for different species, and we're going to dive into helping you potentially create the ultimate bow hunting setup. So, how you guys doing?
Outstanding.
Good, Stefan. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this. After our conversation, Nick, I was talking to my wife about it off and on. Like 5 hours later, I'd be like, "Hey, honey, Nick said this, and I'm not. I'm thinking this," and she's like, "You just need to talk to Nick some more because like sounds like you guys left some things unsaid." So I'm excited to have you guys on here. And for those that don't know, Troy, I'm going to give you a brief introduction, and I'll let you kind of explain some more. Um, Troy, you're the most testing person that I know of on live animals. I've seen like documentation, maybe like Cody Greenwood. I don't know him personally, but
Mhm.
you're one of the people that's tested on live animals more than anybody that I've seen with documentation, with I'm going to call them quote dissections, pigs, deer. I know you're a super avid fisherman. When I was messaging you the other
Oh,
day, you sent me a picture of a pretty
I
sweet looking fish there.
have a fishing. It's a disorder.
Yeah. So I'm excited to learn from your experience. I'm going to preface this kind of podcast with, I'm going to take a back seat because you guys are more studied than I am with animal anatomy and things like that. I'll ask questions as I kind of am curious and as I'm unclear on things, but I'm excited to see you guys listen and my input in anything I win. If anybody's heard what I said and Troy and Nick say something different, I would strongly consider listening to them over me because I've shot just a
Easy
handful of
there, big
animals
fella.
with an
Probably
air with a
smarter than you
bow.
think. Yeah.
And Troy has probably shot as many in a day as I've shot in my bow hunting career. So just kind of keep that in
Same,
mind.
same. Yeah.
Yeah. So if somebody
Well,
has done
let me
something more than
quantify
you, go
that.
ahead, Troy.
I'm going to use that word a lot because I really like base principles and it's a starting point. So,
Okay.
just for everybody's understanding, it is illegal by wanton waste laws to shoot game animals without permission from state agencies and test on them. However, feral hogs in Texas have no laws.
Hmm.
Important.
There isn't licenses, there's no time, helicopters, RPGs, whatever you want to do.
Yep.
So
Are they just a straight nuisance animal?
they are, they're the best. Everybody says they're a nuisance. I'm sorry. My boys have shot so many of them, they'd rather take y'all. Like they're over it. If y'all
Yeah.
came to the ranch, they would take you hunting. They would fight over whoever got to go. Like it's fun to see. And so you can shoot them you can shoot deer live and test. Like that's a test, one shot. But you can't shoot them again and again, shoulder blades, headshots, that kind of thing,
Yeah.
and post it
Yeah.
because you will go to jail. So what I did was after reading Ed's study and my own frustrations with arrows not working, I said, well, I got all these pigs. Why don't I set up the feeders give me the same shot over and over and over so it's reproducible and they're everywhere. So you don't have to really hunt.
So that's funny. So with that, I want to highlight something because something that shows up on Nick's app. If you have an arrow that's in the marginal category, I believe, Nick, you can correct me. It'll mention, like with elk specifically, large bones can hinder penetration, something along those lines.
Mhm.
Troy, so you say it's the same shot. Are you selective with your shot angle, or do you intentionally try different shot angles for curiosity and for data points as you?
I've shot them from every angle possible.
Okay.
I quit shooting. I shot three pigs that were 120, deer size this
Mhm.
way with a double bevel broadhead, arrows in the mid 550s, very short range, and I lost all three of them.
Hmm.
Are you trying to put that in front of the scapula when you do that?
I was trying to go through the bone.
Through
Like
it? Okay.
I wanted the worst possible impact. Like it was intentional.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I changed to a 700 grain arrow with a single bevel, and it just goes chut and it flies through them like nothing. Like but I lost three in a row, got penetration. I don't know that they didn't die. I had an arrow like in them, but it was a lot of arrows sticking out.
Hmm.
Okay.
And when I saw that, I was like, okay, well, that isn't working. So I'm not doing it anymore. Like it's
Yeah.
just not fair. I have guns. Like you can shoot them there with a 44 Magnum rifle and they flop over. So I stopped with that because it just was an impractical shot angle and they move a little bit every time.
Yeah.
So you got that variance too. Before we get going though, Nick, give me your multi-species arrow philosophy. Because this is the topic that's come up with a lot of podcasts with people who try to dismantle the heavier, higher FOC arrow systems by saying, well, what about multiple species?
Sure.
So I'm not going to kick you in the head or anything.
Yeah.
Tell
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
what you think and what you think the audience thinks about that. Because, by the way, I'm going to preface this with no one does multiple arrows.
Right. 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 Yeah. No. No. Yeah.
I mean, I'm in for it and I'll give you an answer,
Yeah. Yeah.
but nobody has. I have five arrows. I have a golf bag.
Yeah.
But anyway, what's
Yeah.
the
No. Yeah.
what's the
No.
mindset behind that?
Yeah. No. I think it's not necessarily multiple arrow. It's more
Okay.
just being able to like have a quantifiable number to see where your arrow kind of sits. So like, let's just say for even numbers, let's just say on my deer setup, I get a 90% arrow ballistic score. And then I change that same arrow. Go to an elk and it goes to a 78% because it's not heavy enough.
Okay.
And then it goes to a muskox and it gets like a 43% because there's like no momentum or kinetic energy.
How do you
So,
know what those percentages are, though?
uh, so that is a lot of the about 10 months of research
Okay.
going through. And that's why I wanted to kind of talk to you a little bit as well, is because I think there's a lot of, I think the whole our the entire archery industry kind of lacks clinical data. Like you were a research,
100%.
yeah, you were a research guy or a respiratory therapist, correct?
Therapist, yeah.
Yeah. So I've been in med device for 12 years now, and
Okay.
like it's clinical data all day long. I'm talking to doctors about
I
clinical.
sell medical device too, right? Right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. And so we don't really have that in archery, and it just
None.
it drives me nuts because there's not any quantifiable, like we can see this number, we can see the number, and so that's kind of the heart of the app, is just trying to have people see like, okay, the difference and why momentum really matters. Uh and on paper, by the way, I think that the Ashby stuff and a lot of things that you talk about is not only defensible, but almost, I mean, it's just truth.
It's
Like it's
irrefutable because
yeah,
it's 5,000 shots with 118 data points per.
correct. Yeah, like irrefutable. And so my question to that is
Yep.
always, does where does the speed drop off to where the animal is possibly moving more to the arrow? And we've talked a little bit about this, and we can get more into this. I don't want to change the whole thing into that,
Yep.
but so quantifying like high flinch animals to lower flinch animals,
Yep.
and these species that are larger body composition, denser bone, have hide, those kinds of things,
Mhm.
and trying to quantify all those things into a giant algorithm to output like, hey, you shouldn't be shooting your hog with a 400 grain arrow.
So
Um,
I'm gonna do a video on this because I'm a pass through absolutist.
okay.
So that is my base principle.
Okay. I like that. Yeah.
If you are not passing through deer regularly, you should not shoot an elk.
100%.
Should not go to a 700-pound animal and send it if 60% of your arrows pass through a deer.
Hmm.
And if they
Yeah.
just fall out the other side of the deer, you need to be thinking, I'm going elk hunting. It's bound to work. You just increase body mass by 400 pounds. Okay, I don't even get 200-pound deer down here. We got tiny deer, but like Coos deer size.
Yeah.
But West guys shooting 200, 250s like adult sized deer.
Hmm.
If you're not I mean, passing through them like lightning bolts
Where you're pulling the arrow out of the ground.
out of the ground, then
Yes.
you should not take that arrow elk hunting.
Hmm.
And you should pass through elk. I mean, I just don't see why we can't. Well, I know what we can build to shoot through an elk because I've got friends who shot full length through elk. I've got a friend who is quite possibly one of the best elk hunters in the Oregon area, and he shoots 700 grains and he shoulder shoots them, and he's anchored two of them like a gun, like broke their shoulders and they just go like that.
Wow.
But he gets close and all that good stuff. So I understand where you're coming from. Um, the multi-species thing is super interesting
Yeah.
because there are softer animals. Like I understand, I've never
Hmm.
shot a bear. I understand they're pretty mushy. Like they're not much there. Whereas a feral hog can have a shield and their rib cages are
Yeah.
absolutely horrific. Like
Okay,
their
Yeah.
so
bone spacing's real close and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
with
And
that, Nick, if you could explain um for Troy and for everybody, um so Troy, you said you want two holes, right? That's another way to say it.
I just
You
want
want
the I don't
two,
want the arrow in them
perfect.
at
So
all. I don't
and
care
what's
about
past
blood
two you want
trails and I don't care
everything
about
else?
any of that stuff. I
Yep.
want the arrow through them like lightning.
Okay.
The two holes is more for pneumothorax than it is blood trails.
Okay. So Nick, is your ballistic score, is that is the goal for that two holes? And what are the numbers that go into that score? You mentioned flinch and you mentioned a little bit of body mass, right? I think last time we spoke, you said there's 11 different kind of data points within that. Can you expand on that?
yeah, I probably should have had that up and just ready to look at. Pretty much the long and short of it is there's 11 different data inputs for every single animal. And that's
Okay.
just an incredibly long time to just go over and create. And then there's five kind of sliding curves, I guess I would say, that kind of go for every single animal. There's flinch, momentum, kinetic energy, the animal size, and then there's also like a kind of an arrow optimization algorithm that makes you it doesn't almost it makes you reach farther than your arrow's probably capable of anyway. So,
Mhm.
and I mean that as in like if you get a 90% in this algorithmic score, that's actually really, really good because it's trying to push you out of the comfort zone of where your bow sits anyway, if that makes sense. And my overall goal with this whole thing, and I think it's kind of Troy's similar goal as well, is to make things more lethal and to
100%.
make things more lethal. And the second thing is to open people's eyes to what their setup's actually doing and have a number associated with it. Because I think people's brains kind of just goes, okay, I see that now. So one quick example, I ran my thing through the score. I shoot a 468 arrow, a grain
Okay.
arrow, and it shoots 307 feet a second. So I get 98 uh, uh, foot pounds of kinetic energy. It's like a point 64 slug, and
Okay.
yeah. So and it
What's
comes
on the
out.
front of it? You shooting a mechanical or a fixed blade?
Well, I don't want to tell you because you're gonna get mad, but
No, I don't care. You're shooting mechanical, so you just sucked
yeah.
all the energy out of it. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, yeah, no, and there's the algorithm there's an algorithm for that. They actually
Oh,
so
you got like punch data?
yeah.
Oh, that's interesting because
So I actually ran through
that's something we've been trying to figure out is how much resistance is there because you're basically
yeah.
shooting water sack for all practical purposes. That's
Sure.
pretty flexible. People
Yeah.
don't know that. And there's a lot of press there. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, and so I ran through the score in my app and it was 91. It came up as a 91 arrow ballistic score. Now, when you get a 91, that doesn't mean it's 91% chance you're going to kill the deer. It's just a ballistic score. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm still trying to figure out how to make that clear for people.
Mm-hmm.
But so my buddy who he practices all the time, shoots all the time, but he's not into figuring out his grain, his arrow grain, and his speed. He's not like match like figure. He's just like, oh, the bow shop did it, and I trust them. They're good. And I'm like, okay, so what are you shooting? And he literally sends me the ticket of the bow shop, and I'm like, this is gonna be bad because he's shooting 60 pounds, but It's like a 376 grain arrow and it's shooting like 275 or something.
Mhm.
And so I go, okay, I'm just going to show you what my arrow scores is a 91 in the ballistic score. And I put his in, I think it scored like a 52, And he's like, oh, and I'm like, are you getting past twos to deer? Nope. Okay. Now we can see, like we can quantify it and kind of
He
see
told
why.
you that.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. He shot one, shouldered it and lost it, shot
Mhm.
another one, and it was halfway sticking out,
Mhm.
and he found it and had to shoot it a second time.
And shooting a really light arrow with a mechanical broadhead.
Oh, I can't remember what broad his. I can't speak to
Uh,
that.
Doesn't
But
matter.
yeah.
That's super common. And by the way, that 275 speed, Stephen, is real common across archery.
Yes.
Everybody acts like everybody's shooting 300 feet per second. It's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah.
75-ish is real common for somebody who doesn't have a 34-inch draw length and 90-pound bow.
Yeah, I was gonna guess probably like 282 is maybe an average speed, is what
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
gonna
No,
like.
no, I 100%. That's
Okay.
absolutely true.
Okay.
So then I've got a
Um,
question for both of you guys. So I'm on your app, Nick, and I'm on the arrow optimizer.
okay.
So it's saying this is where so I'm on wild hog, wild boar hog, and what I'm seeing is this overlap of lines. So one of them is speed, the other one's kinetic energy. So
Yeah.
speed is trending down, kinetic energy is kind of trending up.
Yeah.
And then you have this line called the sweet spot. Is the sweet spot chosen for every animal the same?
So the sweet spot is if you look at the bottom,
Yep.
there's an ABS and a PTI score. The PTI score is like a pass-through index where it actually is a little algorithm that Troy it puts it's kinetic energy, momentum, and body mass of the animal, and like this other algorithm I create called a PRI score, the penetration resistance score for every animal. It's like
Mm.
those four wrapped in two, and that's what the PTI score is. Now, it doesn't mean necessarily you're going to get a pass through, but it kind of gives you like a percentage of what you're probably going to see a pass through with, or possibly anyway. And again, these things, I'm not naive enough to say that I know it all. That's the
No,
reason.
nobody. If you're better off not knowing it all, because trust me,
Yeah,
Nick, you know this. You test, guess what? You got more questions than you got answers every
100%.
damn time. Every
100%.
time. Ed has a list this long for us.
Okay, okay, that makes me feel better. Yeah,
And I never run out of content because every time I do something, I go,
yeah,
100%.
yeah. And I guess I just preface that because I don't want it to come off with like with the app. You see these numbers and you're like, I know these things, and that's why it is how it is, and I know everything. Like I don't, and so that. But I just like you, Troy. I would say you're a truth seeker, and probably you as
100%.
well, Stefan.
Never
And that's
stops.
that's that's kind of my camp as well. That's what if I can be proven wrong, please do because it's only
Yep.
going to make me better.
Yep.
Yep. It
Um,
pisses people off though when you
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
they get offended. They get
Yeah.
offended because their setup's not the best.
Yeah,
So
but
with
so
this,
it's the
go
sweet
ahead,
spot
sorry.
is where the ABS score and the
Yep.
PTI score merge to get the highest two scores possible.
Hmm.
Basically, you want to look at those two bottom numbers, and wherever you get the highest scores possible is where you want generally your arrow is going to be a good setup. And now, even if people, mostly anyway, even if they disagree, usually it's like, okay, I disagree, but this is pretty damn close.
Yep.
Um,
Mhm.
So
so
with that, yeah, so thanks for explaining that. My question is, so right here I'm looking at it, and again, wild boar. I'm seeing speed 278, arrow weight 520 grains.
Mm.
Um, Troy, your thoughts on that? Because I'm gonna call you the wild boar expert. You can kind of be humble about it, but you shot a lot of pigs, seen a lot of pigs be shot. Those
You're
numbers, how do those sound to you?
that's a
275,
broadhead
520.
question right there. So if you're shooting a mechanical broadhead at the rib spacing on a feral hog is next time you got a rack of ribs out, look at it.
Hmm.
It's this wide. It's 3/4 of an inch, maybe. So what happens is you have these very short, blunt on that particular animal,
Hmm.
round ribs, pretty round compared to a deer
Yep.
and a human. And the resistance is it's incredible. And then there's a secondary problem with the mechanical broadheads is they want to open up wide and cut like this direction. The blades get dulled. They get trashed.
Yeah.
Mm.
And nobody talks about that. Like the approach angle of a mechanical is very blunt to get them wide. I
Mhm.
get it, right? And this, so you're impacting, you don't slam a knife down on a steak, you cut. When mechanicals go like that, hit
Mhm.
the ribs. And before I started doing this, I lost a bunch of them. They're right there. And I think it was broadhead edge quality.
Mhm.
They could be sharp in the quiver and then they hit sand.
Yeah.
The first thing you hit on a pig is dirt. And the hair eats knives. So get something whistling along it back when I shot 400 grain arrows. And everybody said, well, they're just kind of tough. I was like, yeah, I'm a respiratory therapist. That's bullshit. There's no tough. Like there's no tough cardiovascular system. It's the same.
Yeah.
God's got the system rigged. It all looks pretty similar. And so I think I was having broadhead damage issues, and I don't know that they survived. I didn't find them. And I only know that by looking in reverse when I learned to sharpen and shot better steel. I started in the last, since I started the channel, I've lost three pigs. They were all shooter error.
Mhm.
The arrow went 20 yards past them. And when I hit them right, I just back the camera up and go, well, that was on. I just get down and go get them. They're dead. And I'm very, very, I can't prove it. Ed always says, man, if we could find the lost ones, we'd learn so much.
Yeah.
Isn't that great? Like he's got all these great euphemisms, he says. We don't care what the arrow does to the animal. We care what the animal does to the arrow.
Yep.
He says that all the time when I'm talking to him. And I'm like, that's the ultimate question. What does the animal, that's what you're trying to figure out, Nick. What does the animal do to the arrow at impact?
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm pretty convinced I shot some broadheads. I know I was shooting some crappy broadheads. And I think they dulled to the point that they just pushed tissue out of the way but didn't lacerate. Because I'd get half an arrow in them. And they'd run, they may have gone 400 yards and croaked up or laid down and died. I never found them, right? And then I'd go to higher quality steel, hand sharpened, stropped, literally just go shave all the hair off your arm. And if they don't put blood on the ground, they're 60 yards away. And they went that way. You kind of go in the general direction they ran. They're smelling around. I find a
Yeah.
lot of it that way. Ooh. So
So, so are you saying that you think it's the actual sharpness of the blade or the quality of the blade dulling quickly?
survivability of the edge.
So
Okay,
edge
so the
retention.
quality more than you think. Okay.
Elk are covered in dirt. They wallow all the time.
Yep, yep.
Pigs are always rolling around on the ground. They're always. I've got one right now. I'm hunting out here on my local place. It looks like an M&M. He's got mud on him. He just lays in the mud. If I shoot him on that side, I'm going through mud. He's like an M&M.
Yeah.
It's a shell.
And it could be thick, like,
It could
a
be
little shell. Yeah.
because their hair's that long, so it could be half an inch of mud, right? So it's not the edge sharpness; it's the edge's ability to hold sharp.
And so I totally agree. So I shoot right now. I've shot so many uh broadheads, but so right now I'm actually on the G5 Mega Meat, the
Mhm.
mechanical. That
Mhm.
thing takes a lot of energy to open up. And my biggest complaint with it is that the blades are always wrecked after it
And
goes through a deer.
that is something I need to talk about in one of my videos. If you constantly have wrecked blades, one of these days it's going to cost you.
I know I've wondered that. So I don't think I would shoot a pig with that. Like I would shoot a deer with it,
Mhm.
but not a pig. Um,
Yep. I
and
have
I
a friend
think
who shoots 630 grains and he shoots mechanical broadheads, but he only gets about that much penetration. He just likes the big holes it puts in them. He's a big guy, and I'm just like, it's amazing how much energy they suck out of the we when we do the Ashby talks, we have a hide from a zebra or something. and we take a rage and push it on the skin, and you have to lean like the
Yeah.
skin folds over before it goes through, and you take like a really sharp single double level broadhead, and you can just push it through with your finger. And that's where the light arrow, there's some Newtonian physics there.
Yep.
Every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. So the harder you hit them and the faster you go, theoretically, that high resistance is going to be higher. And that stuff is a factor of squares. It doesn't double.
Mm.
It's just hard to quantify because
Yeah.
animal to animal, you're talking. And then when you get out there ways, all this long range stuff that's going on, the energy dump is horrific.
Yeah. And
Horrific.
that's
It's,
actually, yeah, sorry not to cut you off, but that's actually something I noticed when I plug in the algorithm of like in the app, I have a thing where you can actually see arrow trajectory distances. You can put like 4 or 5 arrow and see kind of how their trajectory looks over out to 100 and I think it's like 150 yards. And exactly to your point of the heavier arrows, it's funny because I want to say it's around like the 80 to 100 mark. The heavier arrows sometimes will actually re-catch up to the lighter arrows and pass them by 130 yards or whatever.
for trajectory.
Yeah, because of what you're talking about, like the speed decay, right?
Mhm.
However
It
you
doesn't erode as fast. But I'm
correct.
talking
Yeah.
about on target momentum is terrifying at 60 yards. You shoot,
Yeah.
look at the, I have said this on podcasts, and I think I made some smart ass comments on one of my videos. Nobody wants to shoot 40 KE at the bow, but you're doing it at 60.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So suck it on that. It's just math. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. That is just math. You can hate on the fairy all you want, but when you look at the chart, the KE that you find unacceptable is happening at 60 with
And
a pointing arrow.
and just to explain that, just because if people haven't seen your video, what you're explaining is that what you're shooting at your bow is not always what's happening at 60 yards because of speed decay and different things.
30
And
or
so,
40 feet per second is peeled off on a 400 grain arrow. I've got the
yeah.
math. You can look at my, it's just math.
No,
The lab
I've watched
radar
that
was
video.
terrifying, actually. It
Yeah.
was awesome. And I looked at it and went, oh my God, I didn't realize that people are shooting that little amount of energy on target, shooting far. And guess who shoots far? The elk hunters and the mule deer guys.
Yeah.
And so a guy who would never accept 48 KE at the bow
Mhm.
is delivering the arrow at that KE at the target at 60.
Yeah. And doesn't realize it potentially.
Oh, the industry's not going to tell you that. So
Yeah.
somebody has to go look. And
Yeah.
it's it's that one is probably the one that bothers me the most, and that's why the if we discuss the multiple arrow, what arrow is good for animals,
Sure.
um,
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
that's a it's a huge problem. And then you shoot a mechanical.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk
Mechanical
about that.
company says you need 60 KE to shoot it or something.
Well, yeah, sometimes I do, yeah.
So you're shooting 60. Your mechanical company said you need 60 KE, and at the target you're hitting at 48.
Hmm.
Make that make sense, man.
Let's talk about that. So when I got back into bow hunting, I was shooting about 280 feet per second,
Okay.
465 grain arrow. I shot a black bear. I don't know what it weighed with the guts in, but guts out, it weighed 175. And
Okay.
before everybody's like, no, it didn't, I carried the bear out on my back. I put it on a scale
Nice.
again. It was 175 pounds.
Jeremiah
Bear.
Johnson, bro. You need a beard
I
like
carried it
Chris
half a mile.
Paul.
It's not like I'm some hero. And I was like crying at the end of that. So
Yeah, sure.
175-pound bear guts out. I
Okay.
shot it at 80 yards. I got a full pass through, shooting a severed 2-inch expandable.
Uh-huh.
The arrow was buried in the dirt. I think my arrows were 28 inches, give or take an inch or two.
Mhm.
And it was buried, 12, 14 inches in the dirt. So
Good.
based on what you're saying, Troy, I got the pass through and then I'm pulling it out of the dirt, right? Bear
Mhm.
runs about 90 yards dead. Dead as
Okay.
dead could be. Now, with that, I got a full pass through. Those severs, the blades pivot around bone, so that way they are maximizing penetration, supposedly. I think there's kind of something to that.
I've
I don't
seen
know
their
how much
advertising.
it
There's
increases.
only one rib in all the videos, but there's 13 in a real animal.
For
But
sure, yeah. Yeah,
I
so
think they also do this, right? They clap.
the one that
They
I
they
was
kind of
shooting
go
did
like
not.
this. They lock out and they kind of go like
They
this. They
pivot
go
around the center of it, yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
It's the ones that go like this are the
That's the
Bowmar blade.
beast, yeah.
These, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so with my experience there, I think my KE was like 82 to 85
At the
at the
bear, it
bow.
was 50.
Okay, so it was 50. I think it was less, so we'll just say 50 because that's what you said. So cool, 50. I got a full pass through.
Mhm.
Does kinetic energy kill, or is it hemorrhaging, blood loss, trauma to
Yeah,
the
energy doesn't do
cardiovascular
anything.
system?
Energy is just energy. It's
Okay.
all hemorrhaging and blood loss and shot placement on that point.
Yep.
You got
Yep.
away with it. How's that?
I got away with it. I got
Shoot
a
three
full
of
pass
them.
through
Shoot three of them. You
at
can't.
80 yards.
One test. One animal is not a test. One animal
That's
is one.
right. It's not a test. It's just something that happened, right?
Well, no, I'm not trying to kick your ass here. I just get this a lot from people who are like, "Yeah, man, I shot one." It's like, okay, we'll do it 10 times.
No,
Like
I
that's when
agree
you
with
start to
you
get the data. The data's dirty on one.
for sure.
It favors whatever happened, right? You
Yeah.
could have failed. You could have bonked him in the shoulder, and you'd be like, "What the well, Troy? What am I going to do here?"
Well, that's right. Yeah, and that's what I want to get into. So, first of all, yes, one data point's not enough, right? So, I teach research classes and stuff, and every student says your sample size is too small. Cool. Everybody understands a small sample size isn't as strong. Great. So, with that, I shot it um, close to middle of the middle, so I wasn't near the shoulder.
Yeah, their
It was,
physiology is interesting.
mhm. It
They're
was
one of the guys you shoot back.
Yep,
Yep.
it was slightly quartered away. So I
Right.
got a slap cut. So the entrance was like 3.5 inches, I think I measured. The
Mhm.
exit was closer to two. And with that, again, I center punched one rib on the way out, and on the way in, I think I hit a rib, and then that's where I got that slap cut.
Sure.
Okay.
It
So
skipped.
what's
Mhm.
that?
It skipped.
Yeah, yeah, you could say that. Yeah. It kind of hit and like sliced before it got a bite from the tip, right? And then it went
Yep.
in. Yeah,
Nope.
I agree. So with all that, kinetic energy we're saying was low. Shot placement was good. I knew where the arrow was going as soon as it left the bow.
hmm
Bear was dead, dead, dead. Double
Yep.
lung. It was a done deal. Now, with that, bears, especially that bear, I shot it, I want to say it was like September 2nd.
hmm
Super thin hide. In California, where I'm from, the hair wasn't very long. Pretty lean bear. It's not like I was going through a bunch of fat, right? See how like there's these things that we're talking about that could dull the blades and blah blah
No,
blah.
you're thinking correctly.
Yep,
It's not a winter bear. He doesn't have a
exactly.
heavy hair.
Yep,
There's a
right. There was no
man, there's
fat to
so
clog up the
many.
holes.
That's the beautiful thing. You guys are reasonable. So there's so many other things that can go wrong or right. So
Hmm.
in that case, it went right
Yep.
because it helped. All that stuff helped,
Yeah.
right?
Now that being said, I would be very hesitant to shoot an elk at 60 yards. I haven't shot enough to where I can feel confident in it. So me,
They're
I'd
a lot bigger than a bear, buddy. There's a
oh
lot
yeah.
to shoot on them.
Hmm. That's
I
fair.
think
Yeah,
you're
bigger
fine.
target.
Yeah,
So
as
for
far as
me,
hitting them, you're fine.
yeah, yeah, you're gonna hit a school bus, right? Yeah, so for me, I'm thinking 40 yards is a pretty decent number. Iron will single bevel with the bleeders. 40 yards, to me, that feels pretty comfortable.
Mhm.
Now, with that, Nick, you can chime in here. The hide on an elk is thicker. I've cut up enough elk, the hide is thicker. When I took care of my bear, I
Then a
skinned
black
the whole
bear,
thing out, just a
right?
regular black bear,
Yeah.
yeah. 175 pounds gutted. I skinned my bear. I think I sharpened my knife twice. The bear
Yep.
was like 5.5 feet square. It was not big, right? I carried it on my back. An elk is so much bigger. The hide is thicker, the hair is longer, the hair seems to dull blades easier. The
I
ribs
don't
are bigger.
know about that. So
The cavity's bigger.
here's your mental quantification on that. They're wider.
Yep.
Like they are, the penetration needs to be to the fletch on an elk.
Oh, for
Like
sure.
you do
Yeah.
both of those. I mean, just think of they're probably rib to rib on a bull, 17 inches, probably rib to rib internal.
17. That sounds low.
Well, Cape Buffalo's 24.
Okay. I mean, you might
That.
be right then.
So
You're probably right then. To me, that sounds a little low. Maybe it's because when it
17
gets over
inches
bloated.
inside to inside.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like I don't care about the outside. Doesn't kill them. Outside, no, none of them die when you hit the outside.
Hmm.
Only matters on the inside. So let's just spitball that as 17 inches inside to inside on a bull elk.
Okay. Yep.
Throw some away in that into that. You
Yep.
need 20,
Oh,
right?
minimum. Yep.
Um, when I was with Giannis hunting nilgai, they
That's a
were elk
good.
sized,
Mm.
and they did not post the video, but he hit a nilgai. He was shooting 650 in a single level, right in front of the hip.
Hmm.
He got 41 inches of penetration, and the first 23 was non-lethal.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So if he shoots a 30-inch arrow, roughly. If he would have gotten three-quarters of the arrow into the nilgai and it was sticking out, the nilgai would have run off. It was a gut shot.
Hmm.
I did the necropsy. The last 16 inches of penetration killed the freaking nilgai. Went 60 yards.
So I'm pretty sure they did post that because I'm almost positive I've seen that episode.
So that one when you start talking about big animals was eye-opening for me because I don't get around a lot of big stuff. 200-pound pig isn't they're big, but they're not elk big.
Yeah.
So perfectly broadside on a bull elk, you're going to be fine, right? If everything goes right. However, here's my concern with elk, 100% with elk. And I've talked to some badasses in the elk world, and there's a few outfitters that really don't like taking archery hunters, but
Hmm.
you call them, nothing walks in backwards.
Yep.
When you watch videos of called elk, they're quartering to all the time. You're asking for trouble. You one low one of them big bastards, they're gone.
Yeah.
Well, and the frontal has picked up a lot of steam as well with
Oh
the.
yeah, no, I think that shot's totally legit.
Okay, yeah,
It's the dead center straight on shot
yeah.
on everything. I don't
So,
care. If you can get under the chin and shoot them right there, there's nothing there. Just
Troy, explain that physiologically for us because some people don't understand what's there and why it's lights out so fast.
for what? Oh, the frontal
For
shot?
Yeah, yeah, explain that. Some people don't understand
Well,
what's there.
the first thing you're going to hit is the trachea, which is
Okay.
cutting off the lungs at the front of the deal. If you hit that, the carotid,
Hmm.
both main arteries going into the head are there. That's the first thing you're going to impact. They come out of the heart and go to the front, go up your neck. They're right here. When you exercise a lot, you'll see them pulsing.
Hmm.
So you're very likely to hit a humongous artery and then lungs and the heart and
Yeah.
everything else and the
Yeah.
liver. Like you're going to go straight through them. I think that shot's fantastic with a really good setup.
And let's
Yeah,
go ahead, Nick. I'm sorry.
I just no, I agree. The
Short range, though.
Yep.
that's what I was gonna say. I'm always curious on what the range is because I've seen a couple of videos of people doing it and they, drop and wire away and
Yeah.
like it looks like they almost hit like the front of the like so sideways that it hits a scapula or something.
Hmm.
It needs to be a tight shot, 25 yards, I think. When one of them just steps on you and stands there in front of you, drill him. Like just go up about 6 inches and send it and shoot him in the butthole. That's what I would be
Go.
aiming at. The butthole.
The Texas whatever shot they call
Yeah, shoot him in the nuts.
Yep.
So I actually had a question on your bear thing real quick, Stefan. Would you, knowing what you know now, here's I think a way to kind of quantify that what you're kind of talking about there. Would you take that? Would you do that a second time on that bear?
Yep. Here's why. When I was taking it apart, so I was working on my master's. I've taken plenty of anatomy and physiology classes. The ribs on a bear of that size are not that big.
Yeah,
Mm.
right.
They're not
Are
that.
they pretty spaced out too? Are they, is there, I've never been around a bear.
I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure it's more than 3/4 of an inch.
Yeah.
So
I think
it's
they're
not
pretty,
as
I think they're
tight.
pretty open ribbed.
And again, the ribs, I was grabbing the rib cage, so I kept the rib cages. And you know when you grab like pork ribs versus beef ribs, you can feel in the ribs, right? You can
Yeah.
feel that the ribs themselves are just not as strong. Or like another extreme example of like my daughter, if I grab my daughter by her arms versus like my wife by her arms,
Yeah,
there's
right.
just a
Sure.
difference in strength, right?
It's bone mass. Yeah.
And I just didn't feel like extreme bone density and strength in those ribs. And again, that hide is really thin. So you're talking about edge retention, excuse me. I didn't feel like my blades got really dull. Now that bear wasn't rolling in dirt and stuff in the spring. And
Well,
if you
that's a
had a
hard thing to
spring shot, that
quantify.
would be a little
The
different.
hunting public's going to be here they're coming tomorrow. Actually, they'll be there at the ranch tonight, and we're going to do our Yahoo festival and pig hunting contest. But I want to shoot broadheads through a pig and catch them in a target.
Uh-huh.
So you
Wait, hang on.
shoot the
Say that.
target first. It's like sharpen a broadhead, shoot the target, pull it out, see how much it eroded.
Hmm.
Uh,
Then shoot through a pig, catch the arrow so it doesn't hit, you can't hit the ground.
Yeah,
Know what did what if you hit the ground.
that's
Catch
right.
the arrow and see what, and
huh.
look at what we hit, and then say how much erosion did that thing incur, and how much erosion happened over we hit the animal. Right? What sucks about that is a rib hit's different than in between a quarter of the
Yep.
way shots, two ribs. You got to look at all of it and then rock one in the shoulder,
Hmm.
right? And then see what happens to the edges on that.
Yeah, or even if you hit
Guarantee
them
you
in
I
that,
lost a bunch of them because of the blades. I guarantee you.
yeah, even with
Well,
that, if you hit them in the, what's it called, that cap that they get over behind their shoulder?
they've got a shield on them.
Yeah, if you
It's
hit them
not
like,
that hard to penetrate. It's just annoying
okay,
because they don't bleed.
okay. So
It's
you don't
not.
think that would affect it too much?
No, I
Okay.
don't at all. It's just a cartilage. It's just a piece of cartilage. Sometimes it could be an inch thick on a big one,
Yep.
but it's not hard to punch. It's real consistent.
Okay.
Like it's like a piece of ballistic gel on the outside of them. And ballistic
Huh.
gel is super consistent, so it
Mhm.
just allows it to go through. It's not. The ribs are the worst thing. The sand on the outside, the hair, and then the rib cage is horrible on those things.
Yeah,
It's
the um I think kind of Troy, you've said this, I think probably a bajillion times, but um, and you told me it as well, just messaging, but it's like be prepared to hit something hard.
Hmm.
And we also, Steph, and we talked last time on the podcast, um, and it's kind of like Troy, do you play golf?
I do. I carried an
Okay.
8 handicap at one time.
Okay, so you're okay, way better than me. Way better than me. I'm a 90s guy.
Yeah, right.
Um uh and so you kind of sometimes in golf you line up your shot and you're like, okay, if I miss, if something goes wrong, I'm still gonna be
Where,
safe.
yeah, where's my bailout? Yeah, right. Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. So that's the way kind of I think about it anyway. But of playing to your miss in a way. And
Yeah,
I think
I'm an absolutist on plan B. It's too possible. You are shooting the bow.
Hmm.
That's a problem. You're excited shooting the bow. You've got to piss and you're excited and you're shooting the bow and the deer is over here.
Yeah.
yeah.
And you're not in bro form smoking cigarettes with the old boys on Tuesday at league, right? So you torque the bow a little bit, something happens, deer moves. It's just too practical to think, it's impractical to think everything's going to go right.
Yeah.
It's just, I've done it a lot. And I'm not the best shooter in the world. I'm pretty average. So yeah, you need to be able to, most of the people I talk to act like everything's going to go right every time. And there's so many factors. There's so
Yeah.
many things that can go wrong. Not to mention you're shooting offhand. When's
I
the
would
last time
say
you tried to shoot a rifle offhand accurately at 100 yards?
That's what
Never.
I don't shoot rifle, so I don't.
Yeah, never do you shoot a gun offhand.
So
Ever.
with that, you're talking playing to your miss or, plan B absolutist. Troy, in previous podcasts, and this is where I'm really fortunate that you're on here because I can just ask you directly. You've
Sure.
described aiming at a very specific spot, and I think you've described it as like the kill switch, lights off, lights out, end of the show. Where are you aiming on the animal? And if you miss, where are you still going to hit?
I aim on a deer, pigs, North American game,
Hmm.
3 inches above the elbow, no higher.
Okay.
I am attempting to hit the aortic arch.
Hmm.
The aortic arch is the major primary vessel coming out of the heart, and right next to them are the cardiopulmonary vessels. Okay. And I'm going to redneck this up for you guys and gals out there.
Perfect.
I'm going to do this video actually. I can go to my car and I can pull off the connectors to multiple spark plugs while it's running, and it will run. It will smoke and it will shake,
Hmm.
but it won't die. Okay. If you cut the fuel line with a pair of side cutters off aortic arch, it will die.
Hmm.
It may run a little bit longer because there's fuel in the system, but it's all going to evaporate very quickly and vapor lock and all that, and it'll suck. But that's why you want to hit the aortic arch. What's around that? The lungs. It's not heart and lungs. They're enveloped.
Yeah, so let's describe that really quickly. So
Okay.
heart's in the middle, and the lungs are two, like for layman's terms, balloons, right? And the
Sure.
balloons encompass the heart.
They go around it. Sure.
So as far as I know, Troy, feel free to correct me, you cannot hit the heart without hitting the lungs on a broadside or
Only
not
super
super
low where you
corner.
would only hit the heart muscle low,
Okay. So the heart
but
on an ungulate hangs lower than the lungs.
a little bit,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And then you have to also accept that all physiology is not the same. There's probably deer running around with missing a lobe.
Yep.
And
My
are they
goat
breathing
has
in?
yeah, they
Yep.
get bigger, smaller. The inspiratory phase isn't that large, so the lungs stay about the same size. It's 500 milliliters. It's nothing. Like you and I breathing right now, your lungs are not going,
No.
they're just going like that. So my goal is to hit a major vessel or airway in the forward part of the animal, cutting off everything behind it.
Hmm.
If you hit the aortic arch, you severed all the blood delivered to the back of the animal. There's no arguing this. The aortic arch shoots out, it goes up the spine and goes to the all the way to the back and then splits at the pelvis. Okay. This is why you see animals wobble. 100% it's why. It's not, they're not getting woozy, bro. They can't walk. The
Hmm.
blood's going to the front because it's leaking in the front. And then they get wobbly and choo.
So just
Yeah.
so everybody's understanding this, this isn't Troy testing on animals exclusively. This is Troy's education in years, decades of time as a
Okay.
respiratory physiologist.
Well, let's just, I got lucky at school. We had a physical therapy program. They didn't want the cardiovascular system on the cadavers.
Hmm.
The cadavers, most respiratory schools don't have cadavers. We did. I had tests where there were pins, spreaders, like the
Yep.
chest is open,
Hmm.
and pins and a blank sheet of paper. Good luck. It wasn't a multiple freaking guess. And it was an accident. Not many places have cadavers to work on. I got lucky. I got to
Yeah.
intubate on the cadaver and all that stuff, right? So cutting off this is the simple thing. You want to cut the fuel line and you want to cut the air lines at the
Yeah.
front. And
Well,
if
and I think, and a lot of people talk about like, oh, I want to get a double lung, double lung, double lung. And what you just said, Troy, I think is important because if you ask somebody, would you rather hit a double lung or the heart?
you get both,
That's right.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, if you had to pick one or the other.
I'm hitting the heart.
Yeah, agree.
I'm hitting the heart 100% because
Yep.
that's the major, you know, the lungs are multiple lobes. There's five of them on on a deer. There's 6 on a pig, just to be because they're stupid. They got one little lobe in the middle. What the hell is that? If you can hit that one, just right by the air and arch, it really works good.
Perfect.
So you could actually hit the back lobes and they can go a ways. It
Yeah.
doesn't collapse. It does not collapse forward as quickly as it does when you collapse it backward. How's that?
And when that happens, you'll see shallow breaths, right?
Mhm.
Cool.
Of course. Yep. And then they'll go into tachycardia and stuff, but they're still going. Like
Yeah.
you got the part, you still have 2 spark plugs connectors off of a V8 and it's rattling, but this some bitch is going.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
they're freaked out. So they're really going. And so that's why you want to be low and forward.
Mm.
Ideally, that is perfect shot placement. Nick, you're a data guy, and I've said this in my latest videos. That is perfect. Everybody says, perfect shot placement. Nick, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm telling you.
It means it died really quickly, is all they're saying.
That's all they mean,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Hey, to pivot, or sorry, just pivot a little bit.
Yeah,
So,
pivot.
some of your videos I would describe as, again, you're a truth seeker. I think they're very eye-opening. The ones that, in particular, Aerospine, I'm kind of interested in a little bit right now.
No, let's go there.
I saw the one recently where you did, I don't know, it was like 200 grains or 250 or something up front. And you
Mhm,
shot like a 400, 300, and a 200 or something like that. I can't remember exactly. But
mhm.
it was wild to see. I mean, he shoots us out of the same bow. It's like a 6-inch tear in the paper, a 2-inch tear, and then a bullet hole.
Hmm.
Yep.
And that was super eye-opening to me. Do you think, because if you, my issue with some of the aero companies, is whenever I call them and I ask them like, what spine do I need to be shooting? They almost always recommend a lesser spine. Like if I'm on the verge of a 250 or 300, they're almost always telling me you're good with a 300. Why wouldn't we tell people to shoot a tighter, like a heavy, or I guess a stronger spine?
Different spine. Yeah.
Yeah, stiffer spine. And can you be two spined? Because I think
Yes,
there's always a, okay, so you can, but
I tried that. Yeah.
but is it, hmm,
I put 150s on my bow, like the stiffest arrow on the goddamn earth. I don't even know what the spine really is. Like 400 pounds of spine or whatever. But
what's
so
it,
I
so
just
what's that
said,
do?
I'm just going to outstiff it. Like I'm going to shoot the stiffest arrow and just fly. It didn't fly, which is weird. You would think it would just go down the middle. Like it would just be so stiff it wouldn't do anything.
Yeah. So the bend is good for it.
Did
Thank
you
you.
have vertical tears when you did that, Troy?
Yes.
Yeah. So that has to do with the archer's paradox, right? If
Yeah,
the arrow
sure. Oh,
can't
I know
flex,
why it is. I just thought,
yeah.
hey man, if we could outstiff it, let me just shoot 200 spine and everything. I shoot
Yeah, it'd be
250.
great. Yeah, I would
Yeah.
shoot like steel or titanium shafts, right? And just
Right, just rebar,
yeah.
right? And then it doesn't flex and everything's fine. There's some problems there because broadheads have lift and fletchings fight like
Yep.
a teeter-totter, and there's a lot we can talk about. We can do another podcast just about that.
Sure.
Let
Yeah.
me tell you what the premise of that video was. Always go stiff
Yes.
because of the broadheads.
Yes.
So if you're shooting tack and dicking around with the boys, shoot 350s.
Hmm.
Launch them. But when you, this is one of the broadhead flight problems. So people want to go fast. So they choose light. They lower their forward to center, makes a completely unstable stick. Aerodynamically, this is not an argument. Go to NASA. There's all kind of literature backing this up. That's not me. And the stick's a little unstable. So when I was exploring the forward to center, I said, if I go to 300 spine, I get 25 or 30 grains off. My forward to center goes up. It's a trade. I couldn't get broadheads to fly consistently. Now, they weren't looping and they weren't flying all over the place, but one of them would just go, nah,
Hmm.
3 inches.
Yeah.
And you know when you shoot a bad shot. So I threw those out. I did it like 15 times. I thought I was going nuts because I tuned my torque. I've got the elite remedy or whatever where you can just do the thing on the limbs and
Yeah.
Yeah.
air
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, the set
I got
technology.
300s to just bullet hole. And I said, it's the freaking magic bullet, right? And the groups just got, and I get back at 40 or something. 20 is a liar. Get back.
Yeah.
20
Yeah.
will lie to you.
Yeah.
And you'll think you're good at 60. And I'm just shooting Magnus Stingers or something that's pretty forgiving. And one of them would just kind of like it had a mind of its own.
Hmm.
And I was like, I literally went home,
This is
went
with
back.
a field tip.
Do
The
what?
Magnus
This is with
Stinger.
a field tip.
No, it was with broadheads. I don't mess with field tips very often. This is
Okay.
all about shooting broadheads. So the field tips hit fine. They're liars. They will always lie to you. If you do not shoot your broadheads, even if they're mechanicals, double check everything. So I drove home. It's 15 minutes away. Said I'm going nuts. Turned my bow back. 250 bullet hole. Backed up to 40, and they just went. And when I made a mistake, they made a mistake.
Hmm.
I went for fixed blade broadheads.
Yeah.
That was the magic bullet. And that is a lift. There's a lot of aerodynamics in that, of the arrows stabilizing quicker and not bending as much. So I should have had an arrow. When the arrow launches, it bends.
Yep.
It's not that severe, but that's a great example.
This
Guess
is
what?
my girlfriend's 400
Keep
spot.
doing that. Go like this. It's doing that all the way down range.
Yep.
It doesn't bend and stop. It's going like this and it's going like that. It's a jump rope flying sideways. And then you have the broadhead pushing into the atmosphere on a bent stick that's spinning, fun, and the fletchings fighting with it in the back.
Yeah, there's two steering wheels, right?
There's two steering wheels
Yeah,
when you put a fixed blade broadhead on there, and even mechanicals have some drag.
a little bit.
We're
Yeah.
forgiving 100%.
Yeah, shooting a broadhead is like trying to drive while your wife's also trying to tell you how to drive, which we all
That's right.
love, right?
It's very similar to the backseat driver situation, right? A lot of people think you can overwhelm it with Fletch. You kind of can,
Kinda.
but if you don't go to bear shaft, you don't know. I
Wait,
can't.
you're starting from a bad place.
Yeah,
You're building onto a bad base.
I'm going to start pressing more on my channel on Aeroflight over the next couple of years because I can't beat a bear shaft. I can't. Every single arrow I shoot is bear shafted.
So
And
what
then
do you bear shaft tune out to, Troy?
I shoot at 7 yards. So your goal of a bear shaft is only to get perfect launch conditions. All the arrows.
So you've never bear shaft and shot fletching out to like 40 or 50 yards?
Right. I shoot them at 7,
Hmm.
bear shaft them all to bullet holes.
Yep.
And by the way, the manufacturer's tolerances are not 100%. If you get some bad kids, mark them
Yep.
and shoot field points, but don't hunt with them. You
Hmm.
will have, if you buy, I'm lucky I have an arrow sponsor, but if you get more than a couple of dozen, you're going to have 3 or 4 that just do not behave.
For sure.
Mark them, and you can go shoot with the boys with those. Just shoot them 100 yards, whatever,
Yeah,
right? When
those
they're
are your squirrel arrows, right?
squirrel arrows, whatever.
Yeah.
100% you can. But when you bear shaft every single arrow to 7 yards, all you're trying to do is get the launch clean.
Mhm.
So the fletchings don't have to fight. They don't have to overcome you. Like I said, right there. You're telling me that's the same as shooting Lee?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not.
No.
And so to golf, Nick, forgiveness. And
Yeah.
that's
Well,
can't
have,
beat it.
have you seen have you looked at any of the new aeroballistic study in like Yates in the
I
backcountry?
haven't looked at it. I reached out to those guys to see if I could get on with them. I think I'm persona non grata, so I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, FOC matters. I don't know if you knew that, but
Yes, sir. I talked to them before they did it, and I didn't. I just let it. I knew it was. I knew the results are going to be
yeah.
just it. But that's because I sound like an asshole, but I've had 3 aerodynamics engineers I've been able to talk to who built things that went Mach 7. We're going 280 feet per second, not 5 times the speed of sound. So I've been lucky to have people who really know what they're doing tell me, give me books on how do you make a stick fly?
Mhm.
We're shooting a stick.
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows, bullets are reverse FOC.
What's our person?
They're
Explain that.
negative FOC. All the weight's in the ass of them damn things. They're pointed. So
Yep.
you got to spin them 300,000 RPM to stabilize them.
Hmm.
If you smooth bore a bullet, it'll turn around.
Yeah.
We can't go that fast, right? You can't
No.
overwhelm it with something else because we're incapable of doing it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Most can't even do it, right? So you get to a point, and I've been fortunate. Ed's an incredible resource of trying to understand how to make the whole stick a system.
So
Yes.
speaking of the whole stick being a system, Troy, you like your specific arrow for pigs, and you said that you've got tiny deer. You said you got goose deer sized deer.
Yeah, they're 100 pounders. They're tiny. They're Jimmy Buffett deer. It's hot down here a lot. They don't get fat.
Perfect.
Yep.
So do you use different arrows for
Yeah.
those two different animals?
I shoot 630 grains at everything. And when I went no guy hunting, I was shooting 740 with a tough head on the front. But I did not get a no guy. I smashed some pigs with that thing. But so once you get used to a trajectory,
Yeah,
it just doesn't. And I don't take any dumb shots. Although I could on the
Yeah.
art deer, I could probably quarter two and snap them and just
for sure.
roll them up.
Yeah.
I don't do that, and intentionally. And I just got used to it. And this comes from Ed. Last time I was with Ed, he started after he had broken the shoulder blades on Asiatic buffaloes with his longbow. Now, this is him discovering this. Okay. He goes, well, why the hell wouldn't I just hunt everything with that? It's unstoppable.
Mhm.
Everything below a
Yeah.
buffalo is below. Oh, this argument, the discussion we had earlier. Deer arrow to an elk arrow. Ed wanted to hunt the big stuff. He killed two rhinos, right? With a bow. He said, well, hell, it'll break the shoulder blades on a buffalo. The deer? Ha! Right? Not worried about it. He just kept shooting giant arrows at him. A 12 factor arrow.
So with that, this can relate back to some things that Nick has into his app. So you talk about flinch factor. So if you're shooting a
Clutch factor,
standard,
like plan B factor.
go ahead, explain flinch factor, Nick. So I'm not putting words in your mouth.
Well, just the speed at which an animal can potentially move out of the way of the arrow.
Mhm.
Have you by chance seen that? Well, actually, first question: What's your? I was curious. What's your speed at like the 630 grain that you're shooting the pigs with?
235,
235. Okay.
240
Uh,
somewhere in
okay. Um, but have you seen that? I can't remember I think it's Dr. Grant Woods.
there.
You
Uh-huh.
familiar with? So did you see that study they did in, I think it was 2018, where he kind of measured gravity dropping at the
Yeah.
arrow, the sound of the bow?
Yeah,
What
it's
do you think?
wonderful. He proved Newton. Big deal.
Okay, so you didn't like it.
No, because he only
Oh,
proved gravity. He did not prove a
yeah.
muscular reaction.
Yeah.
Stefan,
Okay.
you're a physiology guy. Are there faster people than me, probably, running?
I don't know, Troy. I've heard you're pretty
Oh,
cat-like.
yeah, I run a five flat 40. And at 57 years old, right? Maybe. And I pull a hamstring at 30 yards. But you look at NBA level players versus average humanity, NHL hockey guys. Those are freaks.
Hmm.
They're physiologic freaks. They came out of the womb like that.
Yeah, just better.
Tiger Woods practiced a lot, but he already had it. If I had Tiger Woods' dad, I would not be Tiger Woods. So Grant Woods, I've talked to him on the phone a couple of times. I'm not trying to smash on the guy, but he proved gravity. Okay, well,
Yeah.
big deal. The deer are moving, physically moving. And one thing Grant did say to me that was very eye-opening, he said, you're hunting the best surviving
Yeah.
animals on the earth. You
Mhm.
are
Huh.
hunting world-class athletes.
That's
The
pretty cool.
fat ones got eaten.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
point.
Yeah,
I like
fat in the
that.
week.
The
Yeah.
fat and lazy got eaten, right? So trying to quantify gravity compared to a physical reaction muscularly is a complete misrepresentation of what Nick you're trying to figure out, which is this index. We found out it was 0.3 seconds between my arrow and a fast arrow. A third. I mean, you can't snap your fingers that fast.
So let's talk about this really quick because, um, and Troy, I'm sure you can speak to this better than I can. It's easier for a deer to drop its body if its head's down than if it's up.
That's what everybody says because the head turns into a lever.
It's a
Like they're
fulcrum. Yep.
literally doing that, right? If their
Yep.
head's up, they can't drop as easily as what they say. And
Yeah,
Ed
it
says
gets into
shoot them
Newton's
walking
laws,
and they
right?
don't drop.
Yeah, so head goes up, body goes down. But if the
Like a
head's up,
teeter-totter.
it's hard to drop the body faster than gravity, which is, Troy, I believe why you're saying you weren't
No,
super.
you are dropping faster than gravity.
Well, if you have a lever, yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but if the head's up and the body's down, then the body's dropping close to the rate of gravity.
Theoretically, yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, theoretically.
Yeah, I
And
just want to
then
explain that for people. Yeah, because the deer can flick its head up, and in doing so, they can actually lower their body down. And then they're loading
100%.
up the springs that are their four legs to then jump, leap, bound out of the way, whatever it is that they need to do.
Nick, how are you doing the math on the reaction time? I mean, what's the magic? What's the secret sauce there?
Well, so because I've seen your video about I think it's like titled "I Was Wrong" or something, and you go through basically the speed decay of two harrows. It was like 589 and 430, something
Yes,
like
sir.
that.
Mhm.
And so when you look at that model, the difference in impact or difference of, I guess, the arrows actually getting to the target at I think it was 60 yards
Mhm.
was, I believe, 0.089 milliseconds, right? Or 0.89 milliseconds, something like that.
Boy, it was, yep.
Yes.
I was wrong
So,
because I posted the first video and then some math heads got in the background and said,
yeah,
"Don't,
yeah,
don't identify me. I don't want to be on social media, but you're
yeah,
wrong."
yeah.
And they ran the math and it got better. It actually improved from what I thought.
Yes, yes, yes. And so because I actually took that video and ran it through a model. Now, here's, people can say what they want. One interesting thing about AI is that you don't necessarily have to be a math head to do math anymore
That's
because
right.
AI can do.
Don't
Now, I think it's very important to not just take whatever pops out in your AI thing and just say
All
that's
right.
the
Push
gospel.
the AI is what they call it, right? Keep asking it questions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
push it and also maybe even have more math heads verify the AI is
100%.
correct, which it usually like is within 90% reason I've kind of found of just me pushing it. I'm not saying that's all the time, but so so I ran it through that model, like your arrow versus or that model versus the AI model of like Grant Woods' study of what potentially a deer can move there.
Mhm.
And the difference in those two arrows that it spit back out to me was about around 6 inch difference at impact if the deer was moving. Now, there's a lot of variables in there. It's not settled science. I'm just saying this was just an interesting thing, and I haven't really like figured out, wrap my head around it yet.
Mhm.
But it's kind of measuring those two things against each other. And
Sure. And they got to remember too, it may be that because this is what, once again, don't do an experiment because it gives you more questions if you're intellectually honest. I'm not standing on top of that. I'm still have more questions about it.
yeah,
They're in motion, which could increase, it could be 6 inches. I
yeah,
don't know how to quantify that. I know what the
yeah.
speed is, right? We know how much time it is.
I think it was like
I don't know
5.7 is what it came back. So right
because
at the
they're
beginning.
moving, theoretically, they're moving as fast as they could move by the time it's 60 yards, right? Because the initial reaction is slower and then they're going to speed
Yeah,
up.
it's
It's
faster
not
as
a
they go. Right.
constant rate. They're going
Yeah.
to go, right?
Yep.
So it could be 6 inches. It could be.
Yeah.
So if you watch enough hunting videos, 90% of them are fast guys.
Sure.
They still hit them in the spine.
Yeah.
They're still hitting them high. I don't know what just happened to me. But I think that is the unbeatable argument in this sport.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a good or bad. Uh, the only answer is you could possibly prepare to hit something hard. That still may
Mhm.
not save you. More,
Yes.
my heart is more when you pull the shot or something like that, or tree stands. You
Yeah.
are asking for shoulder blade from a tree stand, especially close range. It
Yep.
just
Yeah.
it closes up. You're coming in from a really high angle and putting the shoulder blade into the shot line.
Hmm.
because you're elevated.
Yeah, 100%.
Just the way the physiology works. So
Yes.
I think in archery, it is the unbeatable thing, no matter the species. I don't care
Yeah.
how fast you think they are.
No, I totally agree. Like even with a crossbow shooting, whatever, you're not going to take the total flinch out of the animal, or like
Nope.
you're not going to beat it unless it's
And
like
then you'll have three that don't move,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Right. Or a rutted up buck will just stand there and go, right?
yeah,
It's awesome. The pigs never stop. And that's why I started exploring it. I've never had one not move.
Hmm.
yeah, yeah.
100%, 100%, some kind of flinch. Sometimes they spin, sometimes they shoot forward. That's one I lost. He just literally was standing there and he went like this. And the arrow was this far behind the crease. And I looked at it and I went, hey, well, he showed up 2 weeks later at another feeder. He wouldn't come to my feeder. He didn't like that one after we shot.
Yeah, that's weird.
He didn't die. He's still out there. So there's the two things. One, everybody thinks they always drop. That is a complete misunderstanding. They more like they actually
It's like a
roll,
diagonal.
actually going away from the sound.
Hmm.
And I wish I could talk to a deer because I think they hear the arrow.
I think so too.
I think they hear the bow and go, and their subconscious goes, hmm.
What's that?
And then they hear it hissing. And I think it sounds like a helicopter coming at them. I
Yeah.
think we can't understand how acute their hearing is. Remember, they're world-class athletes.
Hmm.
They don't have a
Hmm.
house. They don't get to hide. Shit's trying to kill them all the time.
Well, and you can even think of in baseball, like if a fast pitcher throws a ball, you can hear that thing hiss as it
Oh
comes
yeah,
in.
I remember the first time I got to sit behind home plate at just a AAA game, and it was like, oh my God! And the sound of it hitting the mitt was awesome too. But you could hear the baseball.
Uh-huh.
Like I'm
Yeah.
coaching
And so
10-year-olds, right? They're throwing
yeah,
four.
and the deer got to be hearing that a lot.
I think to them it sounds like a helicopter does, and
Okay.
I think that's what they hear something coming.
Yeah.
Birds have been chasing them, and stuff's been running at them. I wish I could talk to a deer.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And I think that so Troy, I guess to like kind of quantify what your main ask that you just was is like okay, because speed it's kind of playing to your miss. Speed denies movement in one sense,
Mm-hmm.
but also you need the momentum to also get through it.
Correct.
Um, and so where is like the gold standard of having the golden arrow, of having both those things? There's not one, but that's kind of a part of the app is just like the pursuit of that
On
and
a
trying.
compound, for me, it's been about 550. That's the golden arrow.
Now,
50 fixed blade.
is that for pigs, your
No,
deer?
everything in North America.
Okay.
I don't
550, what speed?
I don't care.
Okay.
40 pounds, 70 pounds.
So,
Because the momentum is up at low poundage and high poundage.
see, and that's interesting because the
It's not a
formula for
velocity.
momentum is mass times velocity. So they both have an equal part in it. So
Yep.
you're still saying that 550, is that because that's going to carry, that mass is going to carry it through the animal? Is that your thought process?
Yeah.
100%.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I can't get over the, well, part of this is a little bit of cheating. My graph that I've used the most, and I don't need to test other bows because the mass is going to be the same. They may be elevated or lower, but the momentum line will be the same. Um, I started at 388 and ended at 719.
Hmm.
Seven different arrows. 550 is the middle.
Hmm.
It's also where I saw wow before I started my channel. So I didn't know what I was doing. I dared to get a 300 spine arrow on my 65-pound bow. I dared to put a 50 grain insert in and put a 150 grain broadhead on the front. Got somewhere around 550, and I started shooting through them like lightning bolts. This is when I went, okay, well, what do I have to lose? I'm already losing some.
Yeah.
If this doesn't work, then okay, they're right. And I started blasting through them. And I was just like, what the hell is that? I didn't understand anything about it. I didn't bear shaft. I just did the old paper tune. And listen, I was 25 years. I was as average as anybody and didn't lost in it. And I just went, I don't know what that is, but it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So that's the for all, we were talking earlier about multi-purpose arrow or arrows for different animals, right? The worst question I get, and I get lots of them. I'm gonna hunt elk this year. I'm gonna hunt pronghorns and I deer hunt a lot. What do I shoot? I said, you build an elk arrow. You're asking me
Yeah.
Yeah.
that you know there's something bigger you gotta hunt and the other stuff.
Hmm.
Nobody has three arrows.
So work down.
Nobody does it.
Yeah.
I could go with a pronghorn arrow in the upper 400s because they're little and they're thin skinned and stuff. There's not much to them.
Yeah.
I said, then you build a 550 or 600 grain elk arrow and you shoot everything with it. Oh no, I'm not doing that. Okay, well, so, shouldn't ask me.
Yeah.
700-pound animal, 110-pound pronghorn at a water hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the same shooting situation, man. It's
No.
not.
No, it's not. Yeah.
And
Agreed.
fixed on an elk.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
The last thing, Troy, I know we're kind of running up on time. You kind of mentioned, are you still thinking about lateral movement of the animal a lot when the arrow's penetrating that it's almost like an X Y.
100% is the worst thing out there. And then you catch a
Yeah.
mechanical in there and it's like a really going to torque the hell out of it. So one of the misunderstandings of your arrow is the arrow actually has mass for its length. You got to sit down and think about this, and then it all starts to make sense. So my arm is traveling on a line, and all of it has mass.
Mm.
It is on the shot line, and then the animal moves, and the point goes like this. The shaft wants to go on the shot line.
Hmm.
Mm.
The mass of the shaft wants to go on the shot line, and the broadhead has now been redirected by the movement of the animal. 100% that occurs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why you see, if you in slow motion video, you see these wiggling arrows. I call it impact
Twizzle.
paradox,
Yeah.
which is the wrong term according to the science guys, but I like it. So we're using it. And that just eats up a bunch of penetration because the shaft and the fletchings are trying to go where they were going and the point just went down. It does not track behind it's a stick. And you really got to sit back. The first time somebody told me that, I was like, what in the hell are you talking about? And they're like, yeah, the thing has mass. It's flying and it's long. If you could launch just the broadhead, this wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
It wouldn't. Not much. It would just, but you got all this stuff behind it. So the shaft's tracking and it doesn't get more juice. So when you're driving your car and you decide that you're 16 and you go in the right hand ditch because it's been raining and you slide sideways and then you go across the thing and you hit the gas to keep doing it. Not that I have. Well, I have. You don't have gas. The arrow has no more gas. You don't have a gas pedal. So
Sure.
now it's slowed down, it's misdirected, and the energy, the whole arrow is pushing in different directions. It's wild. And that's where the momentum thing and having a lot of mass in the front, you're shooting a bullet with a tail.
Hmm.
And that helps keeping the arrow moving. 100% that occurs. That's one of the greatest weaknesses. And it's really hard with the mechanical stuff that opens on impact. There's some better designs now, but like the rage and stuff, point hits, blades deploy, animals moving, it hits the skin. You're talking about something 2 inches wide and the animal's moving, pulling down on the blades.
Uh, yeah. In the medical world, we try to fix what's called a hiatal hernia.
Mm-hmm.
And it's through this, you're basically going around the diaphragm and doing all these things, and you have like four things moving. And
Uh-huh.
it's arguably one of the bigger recurrence rates in all of hernia repair, just because you have so many things moving in different directions, and it's so difficult to solve that riddle
Right.
properly.
Right.
on
The
a
arrow
human,
redirect
that's
could go down, it could go up, it could go sideways, most
yeah.
likely down. But it just makes for some wild results. And that's where
Mhm.
the momentum piece, it wants to keep going.
So momentum kind of solves that riddle for you a little bit.
It helps some. It does not, there's no perfect solutions. There's only trade-offs, right? And that's
Yep.
what I trade off is I trade off the momentum and the mass and really sharp broadheads that will easily do a lot of work for the unknown. That's how I manage the unknown. I try to overwhelm the unknown. That's the simplest term. Archery is hilarious. So at 60 yards, the momentum of a 600 or 589 grain arrow at 60 yards is 27% higher than 436.
Yep.
Let's elaborate our results. 27%. We can land the plane here because this is going to be fun. Who doesn't want 27% more horsepower, 27% more speed, 27% more penetration, 20% more efficient car? Certainly, they sell a lot of pills to dudes trying to get 27% added to the penetration factor. All this shit. But in archery, we want the minimum thing. We want the least amount of momentum
To get by.
to get by. I just who doesn't want to hit a golf ball 20% further, run further, lift more weights? We're dudes. Like hook
Yeah.
two trucks up with a chain. Let's do this. Tear somebody's
100%.
transmission out. But
Done
no,
it.
no, not archery. No, no. We're not doing that. We want to shoot a noodle. That one I can't square with the dudes.
Yeah. Well
Can't.
said.
Well, on that note, I know I've got a lot of fun things to think about as I dial in my setup for this archery season. Um,
Bear shaft.
Bear shaft. Oh,
Do you bear shaft?
yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah,
Thank
of
God.
course. If you check out my Instagram, you'll see I'm pretty good at shooting paper at 3 steps. Pretty good at it.
Man,
Yeah.
you're a
Uh,
dead-eye dick with that thing. Good
As long
job.
as any elk steps in front of me at 3 steps, it's done.
We need to get together again, Nick. We got to go further into the quantification rabbit hole. I'm super interested in what you're doing because man, you need to come down and put your hands on a pig freaking skeleton, alive
I
and
would
dead.
love I would love to.
Shoot him with my 300 sub gun. That's been super fun. Subsonic is really fun. But let's land the plane there because I
Yeah.
will keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With
Yeah,
that,
same
it
here.
sounds like Troy's got more testing to do and Nick's got more questions to
Yeah,
try and
thanks,
help
Troy. I only
everybody
have
out.
more questions, but this was a phenomenal talk. I really appreciate your time, especially on a Sunday. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks for joining, guys. Appreciate it. For those of you that don't know, check out Troy's YouTube channel, Ranch Fairy. Is that your Instagram too?
Oh yeah.
Wait. And then,
Troy, and if you have any questions about anything, Troy at ranchfair.com, I will help you. Generally you will not get much help on things, but I will help you tune arrows and fix your bow and all that stuff. It's crazy.
Nick, where can everybody find you?
Fletched brand, just Instagram right now and building out the website and everything like that. But right now it's Fletched brand, or fletchedbrand@gmail.com is right now. But yeah.
Perfect. Well, thanks again for the chat, guys. Super fun question and answer back and forth. We might have to get together soon after you guys do some pig stuff to kind of
Let's
hear
do
some of
it.
the results of that.
Hell yeah.
Well, cool. Thanks again, and thanks everybody for listening. We'll
I
catch you on
gotta
the
go
next
feed my
podcast.
hangry wife. We'll see you later.
Thanks, guys.